I see that too.
Hi, welcome, Shane. How are you?
Hi, good, Sandra. Thanks. How are you?
Doing well. Thanks so much for taking some time out of your busy day there at the winery to join both John Gavin and myself. Again, Sandra Hess, DTC Wine Workshops. This is
Right.
the second part of our case study series on e-commerce website best practices. So we're really excited to chat with you about your experience working with John Gavin and getting your site e-commerce friendly.
Okay.
So as we get started, if we could, John, why don't we start off with you giving us a brief overview of how you and Shane, really, I think, collaborated on his website project and what were his top needs in putting together a responsive and e-commerce friendly design.
Well, Shane and I don't go that far back because he joined the winery around the time that we started moving over to this platform. Silver Trident is owned by two gentlemen, Walter and Bob, who had started the winery on a different platform, originally on an HTML site, then we moved to a WordPress site. And when they decided to go to a bricks and mortar winery, they hired Shane to be their manager, and they rehired me to move the platform onto Vin65 and to start them with e-commerce. So it was a really huge change in their business model, and they've done a really amazing job setting up their bricks and mortar store, going to the POS, and have really expanded the scope of what they're doing in retail, both online and in clubs. They've expanded their use of Wine Club quite a bit, and in the amount of wine they're selling online. So big need there was just to create the ability to pivot, to introduce new products quickly, get them into the website, onto the POS, to create, like you said, a responsive site that was going to work very well in that regard. Also to create a site that had call-outs to create the ability to go from a site that was just a virtual winery and was just about selling wine on releases to a site that was inviting people to join wine clubs and was inviting people to visit the new bricks and mortar store in Yountville. So just quite a different scope and a change in needs, and it was a real exciting project to be a part of.
Okay, excellent. And so, Shane, I've taken a look at your website. It's absolutely beautiful visually and very clean navigation as far as, getting me from point A to point B. So if you could share with us a little bit about the goals that your winery had when it came to really supporting that online connected consumer, maybe the first time visiting the website, and then how that then carries over to either in-person visits and reservations, as well as obviously the checkout process with your online store.
Sure. Well, it was definitely important for us to, cosmetically update our site. Although the pictures are great on it, it's still hard to convey really what's happening here, because when you get here, it's really a pretty stunning experience. But we wanted to try to convey that as much as possible, and it was really important for us to make our website as friendly and functional from a navigational standpoint as possible as well. We had a lot of new information to provide, and we wanted to really present that in a simple way and a way that's easy to navigate from point A to point B. And also, it's important for us to, really have the shopping cart experience as positive as possible as well.
Excellent. I know that recent studies show that high-end luxury wine buyers are now accessing e-commerce sites mainly from their mobile devices, and we're seeing a huge growth in tablet views and tablet usage when it comes to e-commerce purchases. And so when you set out to look at improving the website look and feel, the navigation, can you explain a little bit about how important mobile was for your group as well?
Oh yeah, I mean, mobilely having it as mobilely accessible is just as important as having a really functional website. I mean, because everybody's on their mobile devices right now. So we have that in mind from when you're just checking out Silver Trident Winery when you go to the website, or if we're launching a campaign. We want everything to be just the cross functionality between the website and mobile apps to be just seamless. So it's super important.
Right, and before our meeting today, I actually tested it from my iPad and my iPhone, and not only was the speed wonderful, but again, the really clear, clean navigation that takes me right to where you want me to go, whether it's signing up for that newsletter or scheduling time to visit. Something else I wanted to chat with you about also is looking at your site. I noticed that you do a great job of explaining, first of all, the big idea. Who are we? Why? What is it that's different? About Silver Trident Winery. I know you're located in the heart of Yountville, offering some beautiful limited production artisan-style wines. But then you also mention your furnishings provided by Ralph Lauren Home, which I think is a very interesting use of partnering with your website as well. Can you tell me what led you down that path?
What led us down the path of partnering with Ralph Lauren?
Yes, and I think making it a big, we don't see this a lot in the wine industry where we see other luxury brand partners mentioned in the e-commerce website. So I'd like to hear your take on that.
Yeah, sure. I mean, it's an absolutely unique approach. As far as I know, we're really the only ones doing this kind of a partnership on the scale that we're doing it. How that came about. It's a relationship that started with Bob Binder, one of the founders of Silver Trident, about 10 years ago. He was a co-founder of Oceania Cruises, and he brought in Ralph Lauren about 10 years ago to curate some of the top penthouse suites on some of the ships, and it was a total home run because Ralph Lauren's style it's really classic and it's durable and it's comfortable and I would it's got a particular style that is very high-end and classic, but it's not too hoity-toity either. So it really resonated well with the guests on Oceania, and the idea was when Bob and Walter would, get to the point where they physically launch the brand and find the right space within the Napa Valley, we wanted to bring in Ralph Lauren as well, and really to create a totally new experience. So the idea is that you are in our home, you're in our tasting home, you're a guest in our home. Mm-hmm. Every room in the home is curated by Ralph Lauren to show off a different part of the collection. So that's where we do our presentations and the tastings, and the events are, you're just surrounded by really wonderful Ralph Lauren home decor, and everything is available. We're also a Northern California showroom for Ralph Lauren. So if you really like, the table that you are sitting at and the chairs that you're sitting on and the surroundings, those are available for your collection as well.
Wonderful. I just think that's such a brilliant idea, and I'm excited to see your use of partnership here with wine and luxury brand like Ralph Lauren. The visit page, of course, does a wonderful job, thanks to John Gavin, of showcasing photos that are very enticing and really are inviting to come on in and really feel like you're going to be in somebody's living room for that intimate wine tasting. So John, let's talk a little bit about also the call to actions on the homepage. Something unique about Silver Trident's site that I'm really appreciating is that by leading the viewer to the areas where they can easily opt in on the homepage, you've created a few areas for the newsletter and then the visit. Why did you choose to make those two call to actions most prominent versus, let's say, buy wine or featured wine product, etc.?
Well, it's a new concept. I mean, the thing about call to actions on a homepage is they're going to evolve over time, and this site was put up to coincide with the opening of the home, and the big call to action is to visit us. And I think what Shane was talking about is so correct about it. I think that Walter and Bob are people who came from extremely successful backgrounds in another business and came to Napa Valley to open a winery, and oftentimes such people are kind of treated as if they'd opened a hobby winery. Well, these guys are showing how to kind of recreate the business and do something totally fresh with it. And so it's just natural to feature that because it's the most interesting aspect of the winery at this point, that they have this bricks and mortar store that's been curated by Ralph Lauren. And then the really exciting thing for me is that when you sit down at this beautiful Ralph Lauren table and a beautiful Ralph Lauren couch, and Shane or one of the associates pours you a glass of wine, the wines are really good. And Kari makes great wines, you know, it's the whole experience is really wonderful.
Great. Thank you for that input. I think that you know, when you're looking at a wine brand like Silver Trident, you know, offering some very unique, special wines, you know, not mass production, not the grocery store, you know, big 25,000 case producer and up, but something that's very intimate in the heart of Yountville, in somebody's living room, kind of that feeling. I think it is really important for the website to reflect that same feeling, and so you've done a really great job from the design aspect there. And so this question goes back over to you, Shane, when it comes now to conversion. So, you know, everything's set up on the front end as far as the navigation, the flow, taking the viewer to where you want them. What kind of conversion are you seeing from the homepage to scheduling visits? Let's start there, and then maybe secondly, then newsletter sign up.
It's, you know, it's hard to tell as far as, you know, it's you know, it's hard to tell exactly the conversion rate to who's visiting us to who's actually signing up on the newsletter. I mean, I could tell you we are having a lot of signups via the newsletter, and you know, I think a lot of that has to do with we're working really hard cultivating the right guests here in person, and we're also getting some pretty good traction on some PR as well. So all those things combined, you know, are obviously helping drive people to the website. You know, I think once people are on, we're seeing definitely a lot of mailing list signups, and also some online wine club signups as well. Some that are totally unsolicited. So I think that speaks to the functionality and the ease of navigation on the site. You know, but like I said, we're working hard on getting the right people here, and once they're here, I could tell you with a lot more confidence of our conversion rates once we have them here, as far as who's visiting, how many people are purchasing, how many people are signing up for the club, or how many people are buying Ralph Lauren items versus wine items. We have all that data here. It's a little harder to get that information. You know, just as far as who's on the website and which one of those people are actually signing up for the.
Gotcha. Well, I think as far as the navigation path, though, you know, a lot of times wineries will set out to build a beautiful, mobile-friendly website, and it's very e-commerce heavy. And what I mean by that is, you know, there's not a lot of opportunity to warm up the online visitor and take them down a path of, you know, really getting to know the winery, getting to know the brand, inviting them in first for a tasting, inviting them to connect through the newsletter maybe for some special invitations to events and such. And so, you know, I think that from a sales process or sales cycle perspective, that part of the website really, I think you've incorporated some best practices there. Once they're warmed up, obviously, maybe they've tasted your wine at a friend's home, or they've come in for a lovely tasting, or experienced your wine at an event, then obviously the repeat visit is going to bring them right into that store page or the club sign-up page and so forth. But it looks like you've taken a really methodological approach to how you want the visitor to navigate through the site, and then obviously having them experience your wines in person as much as possible. So it's wonderful to see that done. Let's go ahead and wrap up now with a few questions for John. So in our previous discussion in this case study series, John, we talked a little bit about the need to keep content fresh, and you know what frequency is important for how often the homepage images are switched out, or maybe content on the blog or news page, how often should that be refreshed? So specifically to Silver Trident, can you give me some input on that piece as well?
Well, I think specifically for Silver Trident, we're kind of getting to that place where we have to start adding content, frankly. We built the site out about 2 months ago, and added all the photos of the place, and had a big focus on the rollout. And once you've had a chance to catch your breath, it's time to reassess content, and we're right at that place right now. So, you know,
Hey, Sandra, how are you?
I'm doing well. Thank you so much for taking a few minutes here to wrap up our video case study. And so what we're going to do is just cover 2 to 3 questions in the next 5 minutes as a wrap up, um, picking up from our discussion a few days ago around the home feeling that Silver Trident's offering, not only through the website, but also in-person experiences. And so with that said, getting a better feel for, the unique opportunities at Silver Trident to really come in and taste and be a part of that Ralph Lauren home experience. What do you find to be most important for your visitors post, tasting when they go back to the website and access information? Is it the member portal that they're most interested in accessing, or are you providing more of a handheld approach?
We're providing more of a handheld approach for sure. We just launched the website, or I should say, relaunched the website and redeveloped it a couple of months ago. So we do have only section. Currently. And we want to, we feel that our customer service, can't be beat. So we're definitely all about handheld service.
Okay, excellent. I know that as you start to build out the club piece of your business, and obviously the member support, member retention activities are going to become more and more important down the road. And when it comes to that, do you find that your type of clientele will find the member portal beneficial in terms of accessing order history, placing new orders, etc.?
Yeah, I think so. Absolutely. I think our clientele and our guests and our members are, for the most part, very technically savvy. I think you need to provide that kind of service and that kind of opportunity for and monitor their history and good that people could get it secure. Credit card often getting compromised in other places, and so those are often changing. So it's always good that customers could get in account information and change of address, change of shipping address, etc.
Mm-hmm. Sure, I know that when we look at analytics and we really try to understand the different needs of buyers based on whether or not they are big travelers, or they're really big on using technology. The member portal really does come in hand, especially if you're on a different time zone and needing to kind of log in and just check in on some things or make some updates. You have an event coming up and you need to order a couple of cases and you don't have the time to reach out by phone. That member portal can be a really big benefit in that way. And then my next, go ahead.
Oh, I'm sorry. Yeah, I was going to say too is one very unique is that we our partnership with Ralph Lauren, we have some restrictions on what we can offer over the web for Ralph Lauren. So if it's a members only section, password protected, that only our members can access, we can also have special opportunities for Ralph Lauren furniture and accessories in that section as well.
Mm-hmm. Okay, wonderful. Excellent. So along that same line, then, when it comes to upcoming events, private events or gatherings, are you looking to maximize the website and member portal area for reservations as well?
Eventually, yes. But right now, Our very small and they're very intimate. So
To keep in touch.
definitely, I think the functionality of N65 is great, and we're just at the past the tip of the iceberg, but there's a lot more functionality that we're definitely going to take advantage.
On the right path. It's really exciting to see a wine brand that's taken really the true brand story, the true brand experience, and has reflected that in the design elements. And so congratulations on getting your site launched with John Gavin, and obviously building on Vin65 gives you so many opportunities for customizing and building out the system to better support your members down the road. And